Hey guys, and welcome to Doing Things Dan's Way. So, if you haven't caught it, I already did the rear speaker replacement on this 2017 Highlander XLT. The rear speakers are absolutely garbage. They sound something like this. And so I had a chance to go ahead and replace those with some kicker speakers, and the new sound is more like this. The front, however, has full range. So this is what the factory speakers sound like. And the goal today is to upgrade it and make it sound more like this. So how do we make this XLT sound that much better? I'll have a link in the description below to the Amazon store where you can pick up this exact set of speakers, and also links to the other brackets and cables as well. Now you'll see that this says outlet on the top. Well, they were returned speakers, but what I found when I opened these up is everything's in as if they never even opened the box. The speakers themselves are still factory sealed and look completely untouched. So I would say the experience of buying a open box was pretty fantastic. Okay, these are KSC 6930s. Come with a front grille, which we will not need. Okay, this is a three-way. It does have little capacitors and inductors back here to split the sound into low frequencies and high. And also, of course, in this car, there are tweeters up top that you can also replace that kind of go in parallel with these speakers. Now the speaker, the kicker, actually came with its own bracket. That is one more gimme in the box. So that's everything in the box. Let's get this door open and get these speakers replaced. Now, you might have noticed a couple things about this car that are kind of not standard. One, while this is the normal chrome look of the door, you can see on the other side here that I've wrapped it in carbon fiber. Same thing here. Everything in that was chrome on the dash area I have wrapped with carbon fiber. If you're interested in seeing how I did that and where to get the material, there's a link up here to that video. So let's get started tearing this door apart and getting these new speakers in. Don't go away. This is Doing Things Dan's Way. Okay, so the basic tools for this job you're going to need a typical screwdriver. You want to have some kind of panel removal tools. These are tools that are soft enough not to scratch the plastics of your car that you can use to pry on. So I have a set of these that I use. I'll put a link down below if you need that. You'll need a small little flat blade screwdriver to pop open this little door that's right here. And then beyond that, once we go to get the speaker out, we may have to replace the connector on it if it's not quite the right connection. So we'll get into that. Otherwise, let's get this door off. So the basic pattern is here. We need to open up this little door as well as remove this panel. Do that. Pop this open and pull that screw out. And we're going to lift up on this. So find a place to get under there. Take your time on it. There we go. You don't want to just yank. You want to just kind of slowly work your way apart so that you're not putting too much pressure on any one little clip or bracket. So now the back side, this is going to have a couple connectors. So these are going to find the spot. There's a little tab on these. So on this one, is right where my middle finger is right there. Push on that tab. And this one down here, this one's a beast. Okay, so if you take your little screwdriver and you push on the latch mechanism up here, push in and then slide it down, that releases the harness there. There we go. So again, I was pushing on the little tab right there to push it inward to release it, and then pushing down to slide the whole thing out. Okay, so now those two are out. We're going to work on these two screws here. Okay, now we need to get behind this little plate that's here. So again, I'll use a little panel tool, come in behind it, between the brake, behind the lock and that plastic, and just kind of pop. It comes out really easily. Okay, there's that piece. Now this is what we'll be mounting. This is what we're going to mount this piece to. So we will need to drill a small hole right there, and that's going to feed its way inside the door. Okay, so now let's get that screw out. Okay, those are all the screws, 1, 2, 3. So now there's a whole series of clips all the way around the door that we need to break free. So let's go ahead and get our pry tool and just see down here if there's any spots that feel any more open already. Yeah, right there, there's in fact, there's a little arrow. There's a spot right there that we can get our fingers into. So I'm going to put my fingers in there and just pry it a little bit. So up there. There we go, there's one. Just work your way along to where you find, you can feel a spot where one is. Okay, that broke several of them all the way up here. And the highest one's right about there. Now before we go any farther here, oops, I'm going to pop this piece off. This you're just going to grab and just carefully pull straight out. There we go. Now I need to wrap this in carbon fiber to match the other side, that vinyl carbon fiber wrap material. So I'll go ahead and do that as well. This piece I also need to wrap in that vinyl compared to the other side. There we go. It sounds terrible, but it's just the clips releasing, and they're designed to. So, okay. Now down here we do need to release the light. Before you pull too far, there is a connection down here to make. Now let's pop loose, but you can see there's a little tab on the end there. Put your fingernail on that, pull on it. You can remove little door light here. Okay. Now this becomes the tricky part. Here we have this mechanism to deal with. So there's two ways this comes out. One, either the whole piece comes out with a clip on the top and the bottom, or we need to remove the little pins that are in there that are the end of the cables that are pulling on the latch and the lock mechanism. So let's see what happens when we lift it. Either this piece will come out nicely, or we'll have to pull the cables out. So I'm just going to lift up and get it free, and now it's attached by those cables. Okay, you can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull out on the green part there and turn it, and that releases the green cable, and then pull straight out on this one. Carefully rock it forward. You're going to be real gentle on these. There we go. Okay, and that's everything. Those are those two guys, and they're greasy, so realize that. Okay, so now that we have the door off, we can go ahead and pull off the speaker here and get the new one installed. I'm using a 10mm socket here. And there we go. So that whole speaker is one big solid plastic frame with this little teeny magnet on it. It's amazing the quality they get out of just the plastic. Not horrible. Not horrible at all. But we're going to replace it. So let's get the new one. Okay, so these particular speakers actually came with a mounting bracket, and the mounting bracket actually fits quite well. It fits over these holes without modification. Sometimes the brackets you have to kind of round out the holes to get them to fit better. But these ones that came right in the package were already quite nice. Now there is this extra little tab on here And I'm just going to use a razor blade and cut that tab off because that protrudes in a way that's not helpful to this door. So I'm just going to keep my hands away and score it. I mean, it's already scored, but it's just makes it a little easier to pop. Okay, that's snapped off there. Now, yeah, now it sits flush. Very nice. Now what I'm realizing I did forget to get is some foam tape to go around here. I'd like to isolate this. In fact, the original speaker even had some foam in the gap right here that was touching the metal. And so I do need to put that in order. I'll put some of that in the link down below as well. Something we can just kind of apply to this perimeter to keep any vibrations out of this. So now that we have the bracket installed, next step is to work on the wiring a bit. Now this is the wire harness that came with the adapter kit. So that's just connect here, like so. And I'm gonna go through this gasket because we need to get into the cavity back here, but we also wanna be out of the way of the glass that comes down, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my razor right here and just cut a slit in this unused rubber gasket. And then I'll pull it out and put my wires through that hole. So this is going to look like this now. And then once I get this clipped onto the speaker itself, we'll pull all the slack out of it and then we'll connect these together and wrap it up so it doesn't buzz. Let's get our speaker out. Looks great. Gonna mount it this way. Now what I'm noticing is that the connection they put on here is a little bit narrower than the actual tab on the speaker. So I'm gonna have to replace that connection with a wider tab. Very nice. Okay, that went on very clean. I'm going to wind these up. Okay. That will fit in there nicely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the extra slack out. That was a little too aggressive. I just want to make sure I don't have any chance that the wires will conflict with the glass. I don't slip here. If you put your screwdriver through your speaker, it'd be a sad day. Not a good reason to use a socket head screw like this. Okay, now let's connect up the harness. And then I'm going to wrap that, kind of wrap it up to keep it from buzzing against anything that I could try and buzz against. So this stuff here is not electrical tape. I mean, it functions as it, but it's a fiber tape, and this can work inside the engine compartment. So it works for very high temperature environments. So not that the doors are a particularly high temperature environment, but I don't want things to go gummy and gross like typical electrical tape does. Okay, now that can't buzz against the door. Okay, so now that we have the speaker connected and basically mechanically mounted, obviously this is not all installed. let's go ahead and do some DC sweeps or low frequency sweeps. You can just go on YouTube and find these 10 hertz to 150 hertz sweeps, and go ahead and let the speaker sweep and see if there's any parts of the door that start buzzing on you. Because the last thing you want to do is improve the low end response of the speaker and end up with it sounding bad because there's some little connection in here that's buzzing like crazy at the frequency of the kick drum, that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and run some DC sweeps and see how it sounds. Okay, well, sad to say, all the high frequency sounds you heard in that sweep were from the door vibrating. Now, compared to the other side, where I've already done the inlay of all of the acoustic dampening material, this one has a lot more buzz and vibration and extra like overtones happening because of all of the materials in the door just buzzing around. So, I mean, that's gonna be the end of this install besides putting the door back on here. In reality, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and roll on all the acoustic material. If you want to see how to do that, click the link up here. I'll put that link in. I've already done a full video on the passenger door on removing all of this plastic material, removing the speaker, and rolling on all of the acoustic dampening. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on this door, and we'll hear what the difference is when I'm done with that. Now we just have these two screws to put in, and we're almost done. We gotta put that screw in too. That's that. Close that door. Put this on. No, put this on. Got that wrapped in the fiber. Got that wrapped in the fiber. Clips here. There we go. Okay, now that we have the door all put back together again, let's run the sweep test on it and see how quiet the door is. Okay, it's not perfect. There's a little bit of a rattle in there. It kind of sounds to me like that dumb waterproof plastic that's in there. It's 1,000 times better than it was before. All of the metal vibrations that were happening, there were two big frequency bumps before that were happening. Those are gone. And so now all I'm hearing is a little bit of a rattle, which sounds more like that plastic. How hard is it to replace the speakers on this? A little complicated on a couple steps. That's about the extent of how I describe it. It is not hard to do, and it's there's so many choices out there for speakers, how much money you can spend, all that. So that just about wraps this up for this speaker install. If you're interested in how I did those lights or where I got those, hit up the video over here. Also, if you're interested in any of the other videos on this Highlander Life series, there will be a playlist right here. Remember, there's links below for all of the products that I've used here. So scroll on down the description and you can just click on a link that'll take you straight to Amazon. Smash on my face here to subscribe to see the next video on this Highlander Life series. And until next time, guys, be blessed.